to support our local producers. Why can I not drive 10 minutes to my local dairy and get my milk, my real milk? Why can I not do that when I'm not getting sick and none of us have gotten sick? But I can still buy those berries in supermarkets in Australia, but I can't go to my local dairy and support him, give him 4 times the amount he's getting. Why is this so ludicrous?
And in that town, I remember there was no ADD, no ADHD, no autism, no Asperger's that I saw in my community. There was none of the allergies that we see today. We now have allergies that have increased tenfold in the last 10 years amongst our children. Everybody seems to be allergic to gluten and dairy. I wonder why. Could it be because we pasteurise it, homogenise it, skim it, trim it, wrap it, shape it, put calcium in, add fish oil to it, which they do in New South Wales? Is that why we are having a problem with dairy now? Our culture and tradition tells us what to do to go back to basics. Our culture and tradition is what will tell us how to farm. We've been eating raw milk for 10,000 years. I'm just wondering if they're going to take blueberries and charge $60,000 for a family member who gives blueberries to their family. You know, what they're doing with milk. And what about the caramelised apples that killed 35 people in the US last year? Are we going to have a $60,000 fine for giving your kid a caramelised apple? Do you see the ludicrousy of what we're doing? And I know every single one of you don't. I mean, you see the ludicrousy. It's the ones out there that aren't listening. And that's what we need to get to.
Do we need a revolution? Yes. Is it now for the revolution? Yes. A big revolution that politicians are going to have to follow us because they're not listening to us. They're going to have to follow us. We are leading this grassroots movement and they're going to have to follow us.
You know, we live in a time when our government officials equate sterility with safety. Now, I've got news for you. I've had a weird eating situation for the last, trip here while I've been coming over, but I've still got 3 trillion bacteria inside of me right now. So do you, so does everybody walking around out here. We are not sterile. You know, the Romans had a saying that you could tell the strength of a society by the number of laws. It said that the weaker a society, the more laws it had, the stronger a society, the fewer laws that it had. And so my big question is, so who owns me? I mean, ultimately, who owns me? Does the government own me? Does my neighbor own me?
So there are a lot of things happening in regulation right now, but what is regulation actually for? I think our government's forgotten what it's actually for. Regulation protects us from invisible systems. The people here talking about food are growing food or buying food in deeply local connected systems. We need a different form of regulation.
My preference always raw milk. All you people, look, we've got to start somewhere. We've got to get stuck into these bloody people in here. I've had a gutful of it. I think there's probably 3 things that come to mind for me. One is freedom of choice. The other one's to regulate and set sensible standards for the raw milk. And I really want to push hard. I want to know who the bloody hell's behind all this. There's no one standing up. They're all faceless. I want to push for joint parliamentary inquiry, so I've been lobbying the pollies out our way. Slowly but surely we're getting a little bit of traction. We'll see what happens in the future, but there's something wrong, something terribly wrong. I would say to these people in here, the politicians, the bureaucrats, all the people, all the lawmakers, that us combined, Mother Nature's have a lot more votes, have a lot more saying power than they ever will. So we've got to keep hard at it and get stuck into these people. Good on you. Thank you.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's some huge number of farmers, small farmers in Australia go out of business. What sort of society treats farmers like that? Food is one of our most basic human rights. And the very people who are producing it for us are being treated so callously. spat out on the scrap heap for these big corporations that are going to do these huge, several thousand cow farms. It's bad for the cows, it's cruel and inhumane, it's bad for the environment, and it's bad for us. It does not produce nourishing food, and it's bad for the farmers as well. This is their livelihoods. I've learned that the government doesn't seem to be interested in what the people want. The government doesn't seem to be interested in what the people need. And by people, I mean people who work for a living. I have learned that money speaks very loudly, and that's the voice that the Australian government has been listening to in shutting down raw milk, but also putting all these obstacles in the path of decent small farmers who want to get on with their work and produce nourishing food to nourish people, to get some satisfaction from their work, to do what they love, and most importantly, it's food production. It's about nourishing other human beings.
But we in the country are so blessed. We are able to have our local food and eat it too. So this movement to stop all that, is it jealousy or is it just callousness? I think probably the latter, although we'd like to think that those of us who are in power there, who will probably be looking for the same good food we are, have some idea of what their children are going to be up against in the future. And if they don't support local food and local connection and local resilience, there won't be anything to support at all in the future.